Detective realized nurse is the actual killer.
This is part that I haven't told the doctors.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin, non-diabetic. I believe he died the next day.
This was the moment detectives realized 50-year-old Elizabeth Wettlaufer, a seemingly innocent nurse, was actually the secret cause for multiple deaths. On the 11th of August...
Hold on. Let's take a good look at her. Let's take a good look at her,
y'all. I haven't
y'all.
told the doctors.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin,
50
non-diabetic.
milligrams
I
of
believe he
insulin.
died the next day.
This was the moment detectives realized 50-year-old...
There she is. Elizabeth Wettlaufer. They're everywhere. I've been telling you they're everywhere, right? They're in your courtrooms, they're in your office, they're at your laundromat, they're in your hospital, they're your police, they're your garbage man. There's somebody everywhere that's a monster. You know what I'm saying? That's a monster. Elizabeth Wettlaufer. Looks like the chick couple of y'all eat
Elizabeth
flour.
Wettlaufer, a seemingly innocent nurse, was actually the secret cause for multiple deaths. On the 11th of August...
Of multiple deaths, she's a serial killer. Stop it.
Silcox, a dementia patient, was found dead in his bed at Crescent Care Nursing Home.
Crazy.
With an autopsy coming up with nothing, his death was ruled as natural causes. But over the next few years, the same nursing home discovered patient after patient had died under the exact same circumstances. For 8 years, the cause was a complete mystery to police and doctors.
8 years. Somebody right there that works there in 8 years. These super detectives couldn't figure it out. And she was right under their noses. All 800 pounds of her was right there. Nobody saw it.
Alike until September 2016, when Elizabeth Wettlaufer turned herself in to reveal the horrifying truth behind.
Turned herself in, did their job for them. Well done, you did it again, guys. You guys are the best.
Behind these mysterious deaths. Liz turned herself in at a mental health clinic, who promptly contacted police. Hours later, Liz was brought into the interrogation room.
So I just want to go through, like I said, a couple formalities, cover a few little things off.
And then the name of this video is a detective realizes the nurse is the actual killer. He don't realize shit. They didn't realize for 8 years. She had to walk in and spill her beans and her cornbread and her ham and her turkey and everything else.
If you wish to speak to a lawyer at any time,
Okay.
we can make it happen whenever you like.
The interrogation starts with Liz being read her rights. Liz has the right to a lawyer and the right to remain silent. However, it's looking doubtful she'll be exercising either of these rights, as her detective asks a few questions to get to know her.
Back at Meadow Park, what was your addiction?
Hydromass.
And how much were you using? And,
I was a binge user, so I would use what I could get a hold of
okay.
by stealing it from the patient.
Oh,
Liz worked...
she was stealing their medication. She's a monster. She's a monster. She was stealing their medication, eating their food. Yo. And then serial killer on top of it.
as a nursing home worker.
And for 8 years, these dummies couldn't figure it out.
And had access to all her patients' medicine. For years, Liz had been stealing a drug named hydromorphone, a strong painkiller similar to the likes of morphine, and using it secretly to deal with stress. But it turns out addiction wasn't the only mental issue she was dealing with.
So as far as your latest position at St. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
that was your last position as a RN, is that
Yes,
correct?
it was.
Okay. And you said you resigned from there?
Yeah.
Okay. What brought you to that?
That's where things get a little crazy.
Okay.
This is part that I haven't told the doctors. When my ex and I broke up in 2007, I was already taking the medication for my borderline personality disorder. And I was so angry.
So all of this, so this lady comes in here super diagnosed, right? She's like, oh, you know, all of these disorders, all of this mental mumbo jumbo, right? But nobody, there was no record of this. There was none of this had any bearing on her job or in her paperwork or nothing? No red flags, 8 years? Like, come on, man.
And it was like a voice said inside me, I'll use you, don't worry about it.
The voice inside you is the dude you ate 6 summers ago.
Borderline personality disorder for years and took medication.
Borderline personality, whatever that is.
The voice said inside me, I'll use you, don't worry about it.
Liz has struggled with borderline personality disorder for years and took medication to try and suppress it. This meant she hadn't let it affect her much, at least not until 2007, where this would change in a horrifying way. The detective then decides to ramp up the pressure, and the interrogation quickly turns from an interrogation to a confession.
Well, what kind of interrogation? She came there to confess. She went to the hospital to confess. There's no interrogation. It's an interview.
So, Mr. Silcox, it says here you were working a double shift from 3 till 7, right?
3 p.m. to 7 a.m.
In Woodstock?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about your knowledge of James and your daily interactions during a shift with him.
I didn't see him every time. He wasn't always my patient. I just knew from what people had said that he would grab the nurse's breasts and buttocks, and he would say horribly inappropriate things about his wife, that now he was there, just would say different things. And he did touch me inappropriately once.
Jamie Silcox was an
Sheesh.
84-year-old veteran with dementia being cared for by Liz and the team. But one evening, care would turn to carnage.
A dirtbag, I think, is a dirtbag with or without dementia. You know what I'm saying? What's there is gonna show itself. You know?
As Liz began to fill with rage and made a choice that would change the course of her life forever.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. He's not diabetic. I gave him a dose.
Choice
So
that would
that's her
turn to
confession.
carnage. As Liz began to fill with rage.
Look it. They didn't see her. She was right there. They didn't see her.
And made a choice that would
Missed that.
change the course of her life forever.
About 9:30, I gave him a dose of 50 milligrams of insulin. He's not diabetic, and gave him an insulin shot. Throughout the night, he was yelling out, "I love you," and "I'm sorry." It's not to me, but just you could hear him calling out in his room, and that's what he was calling out. And then the
'Cause he knew he was dying. He knew he was dying. He was getting it all off his chest at that point.
3:30, the PSWs came to me and said that he was gone. Doctor came in.
So she literally sat there and listened to this man that she euthanized. She just listened to him fall out. She's wilding.
And said that his cause of death was from an embolism due to his post-hip. He'd had a hip surgery.
Look at that. So then a cop comes in and a cop. Look at, I'm so used to police incompetence. Now it's doctor incompetence. Again, they're your doctors too. There's a bunch of monster doctors, dentists, all of them. Mind you, yeah, there's good people out there, but I'm talking about monsters. Don't come over here with your sympathy for monsters. So a doctor walks in and then confirms it's an embolism that did it. It wasn't the fact that she pumped him with insulin and he's non-diabetic.
Doctor ruled it embolism due to post-hip surgery.
Insulin overdoses occur when someone takes more insulin than they need, regardless of if they're diabetic or not. Too much insulin will dramatically lower the body's blood sugar level, which can cause dizziness, loss of consciousness, and of course, death. What's more concerning, though, is how difficult it can be to identify it as the cause of death. And even in cases where it is identified, it's very difficult to prove it was an overdose of insulin that caused it in the first place. This wasn't even the first
Now,
time
did
she'd
she know
attempted
that?
this either. In 2007, she administered 2 other inordinate doses of insulin, but they failed to kill the patients. But while this was the first time she was successful, it was far from the last.
Maurice, how did you pronounce Maurice's last name?
Grenat.
Is it Grenat? Okay.
He was another one who liked to grab breasts and asses.
Right.
He was sometimes a patient of mine. See, at that time, I didn't.
I'm calling bullshit. I'm saying she was going into those specific rooms to get her ass and breast touched. That's my vote. That's the kind of monster I think this is. I think she went in there for the attention she ain't gonna get nowhere else.
Didn't have a set floor that I worked on. I worked on all the different floors as a nurse.
Oh, you had access to kill everybody.
So one afternoon I was working with him and he did grab me. And again, I got that feeling inside that this is his time to go. So I gave him an overdose of insulin after supper.
It's his time to go.
And I believe he died the next day.
And what was his reaction to receiving the insulin?
Again, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. I just said, the doctor wants you to have a vitamin shot. That's what I usually say.
Liz had now begun to refine her method, telling the victim it was just a vitamin shot, and had even hinted towards a motive.
And again, I got that feeling inside that this is his time to go.
Each time she thought about killing somebody, she felt a deep, intense feeling in her stomach that implied God wanted that person back and that their time was up.
And the different times that
She believed in her God telling her to murk everybody and shit.
I have caused people's deaths or caused them discomfort through the influence.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was the influence of that voice or whatever it was. It wasn't a voice in my head. It was a voice.
The voice is
the
men that you're eating alive in your life.
After my marriage broke up, that God was going to use me for something. And then after a while, I started to really wonder after some of the murders if it was God or if it was the devil fooling me.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like you were doing the right
Either way, you a foolish bitch.
thing for these people?
No. I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to do, but it wasn't what was right for them.
While people with BPD can often exhibit impulsive behavior and disturbed patterns of thinking, it's uncommon for patients to be affected the way Liz was. Many BPD patients may experience brief or prolonged episodes of strange experiences, such as hearing voices and feeling compelled to harm themselves or others, but it's exceedingly rare for them to act on them. It's likely her behavior was owing more to the antisocial personality disorder she was diagnosed with later on. Those affected with
All these
ASPD
diagnoses didn't keep her from dealing with old sick people? Like, we that thirsty for nurses that we just hiring anybody around here? Here's the problem. If you go and diagnose everybody at one nursing home, just one, there's 90% of them people are a red flag somewhere.
are often observed to have a severe disregard for the law and the feelings of others. They also often find it harder to control their anger and refuse to let other people stand in the way of their reckless behavior. Neither one of these conditions are solely let other people of others. They also often find it harder to control their anger. On. Those affected with ASPD are often observed to have a severe disregard for the law and the feelings of others. They also often find it harder to control their anger and refuse to let other people stand in the way of their reckless behavior. Neither one of these conditions are solely responsible for Liz's behavior.
No.
It was likely a combination of the two that planted the idea in her mind and then allowed her to go through with it with little resistance.
So Gladys, so this takes us to November of 2011 at Correct.
Let's see if Gladys was an ass grabber or a titty grabber, like she said about those men whose grandchildren had to watch this.
Care. It says here Gladys was a type 2 diabetic and had dementia. How old do you think Gladys was?
92.
92. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Gladys. What was she like when you cared for her?
Well, when I first started caring for her, she was walking and talking, and she had quite the spirit. She once punched a man.
Oh.
She gets a kick out of that. Too many of y'all get a kick out of that. You heard that? she punched a man. Shut your stupid asses up, man. You know, that's dumb. That excites you. That gasses you up. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. This lunatic here, she don't feel no guilt for killing nobody, but she's all giddy because a woman punched a man in the face.
Because she overheard the nurses telling one of the gentlemen, no, you can't push your wife around, you have to come with us. And she turned around and she said, you can't treat a woman like that. Boom!
And hit the man.
And hit the man.
Oh,
and then we're all in a state of trying to keep them from fighting with each other and trying to keep them from hurting us.
Right.
Yeah, she was very spunky. But she went downhill fast.
Did she?
Eventually, she had dementia, didn't take her pills well, didn't eat well, very stubborn woman. And as always, one evening I just got that red surging feeling that she was going to be the one. And gave her insulin overdose.
Did you ever get that feeling outside of work?
No, never.
No.
Did
Did
you ever get that feeling for
going to
yourself?
work, knowing that something was going to happen that shift?
No, it's happened at work.
So, if I were to use the phrase spur of the moment, would it be something that you just have that feeling come on? Or
Yeah, I guess you
would
could
it
say
build up?
about for the moment, but it usually start happening, focused on one patient, and then I would feel that red surge, which is what made me think it was God. Which I'm so embarrassed.
Like I said, I'm not here to judge you. Right?
I know.
Right?
The judges
One
for
of the
that.
most strange things about Liz is how casual she is throughout the
She's
entire
chilling.
confession. Not only is she happy to tell the
Cold-blooded.
detectives all the details she can remember about the murders themselves, but also laughs and tells stories about the victims the entire time. However, she also admits to feeling embarrassed about thinking the feeling was God, showing that she feels as though she has a strong personal image to uphold, but has a complete lack of remorse for her victims. This thought process is indicative of a sociopath, but no personality tests or analyses have ever reinforced this idea.
September or October of 07.
What the
And
Helen
then
do?
Helen was 2011.
Yeah. Helen, I don't remember a lot about. She was very quiet, very determined, just seemed to be waiting to die.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had that feeling that one.
Again, I had that feeling. That's her every night. She go lay down. She had that feeling to go back to the refrigerator. Again, I had that feeling. Again, I had that feeling. Again, I had that feeling.
I made a bit of a fuss about her that night because she was very lucid. And we talked about how much she liked blueberry pie and ice cream.
Okay.
So on
See?
my break, I went to Walmart. I got a small blueberry pie and some ice cream and brought it to her. And she ate 3 or 4 bites.
Yes.
And then that night I overdosed her. Like I said, I had that feeling that it was
Woo!
her time to go, and
She had that feeling
She
again.
was towards the end of her life at that point.
know that she was the person to go to.
And that was in your mind, in your stomach.
They're
where was
everywhere,
that?
y'all.
In my cafeteria.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They work everywhere. They're at your liquor store, corner store, school. They're everywhere. Just monsters.
After I did it, I got that laughter.
When would you feel that?
And somebody will come into this chat at some point. Somebody will come into the comments and judge me for judging this animal. And at no point judge this animal, right? And I have to question who they are as human beings, as people.
That laughter, would you feel it right after you injected it or once the person passed away?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
As well as the feeling in her stomach before the murder, Liz also mentions feeling as though there's laughing coming from her chest. Given that it happens both as she's administering the dose and after she hears the victim is dead,
8
this
years.
feeling is likely just an exaggerated feeling of gratification from knowing that her job has been completed.
Damn.
Psychopaths are thought to have a severe case of ASPD, and studies have shown that psychopaths also have a much stronger reaction to immediate gratification. This is what compels psychopaths to make more impulsive decisions, as they value the reward more than an unaffected person. And it's possible this just manifests in Liz as a more physical manner than usual, causing the almost euphoric laughing sensation.
Just out of curiosity, how much insulin would it take to kill someone
See, I
that
don't
wasn't a
know.
diabetic?
Oh, don't give me the I don't know. If anybody knows, it's you. And how the hell you not
You don't know
diabetic?
that?
No.
You didn't know that as a nurse, that this amount? Or?
No, there is no set amount.
Okay. And I'm just, I just
Yeah.
simply just don't know that
No,
answer.
there is
So
no
that's
set
fine.
amount.
Okay. Different people would react differently to different amounts, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And would it obviously make a difference if they were diabetic or not a diabetic?
Yeah.
You don't say a lot of negative things about Helen here. Did you get along with her okay? Did she ever do anything to harm you or?
No, she was very quiet. It was just, I got that feeling that she's next, this is time to go.
Wow.
Liz had no problems with Helen, and even went out of her way to get her favorite food before killing her. This creates a strange dynamic where she obviously feels some form of remorse both before and after the murder, but still goes through with it without hesitation. But of course, the biggest show of remorse was when she decided to turn herself in the first place. Something that's understandable for a neurotypical person who's
Now let me ask you, after 8 years, is it a show of remorse or is it a selfish decision? Because now you can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? People be like, he showed remorse. Listen, let's use G-Dep. G-Dep is a rapper, right? G-Dep is a rapper that he killed a man when he was very young, and he got away with it, and he became a star, became an artist at Bad Boy. Then after that, he was getting high. The guilt was killing him. It wasn't about. I mean, I'm sure it could have been. There's a possibility that it could have been. Oh, he was remorseful, but it's most of the time it's a more selfish thing. Oh, I can't live with it no more. Me. So she just couldn't live with it no more. I don't think she felt remorse. I just think it was bothering her so much. Maybe that is remorse. I don't know. I don't think it is. I just think it's selfish. I think naturally the spirit or the brain or whatever, the soul is saying, wow, you know what you did? You know what you did? And if you can't sleep with that and you go turn yourself in, well, that's just you trying to fix something for yourself because you're all fucked up now. So to me, it's selfish. She could have smoked herself. She should have insinuated herself.
When it comes to serial killers who have operated over the span of multiple years. She stated that she does understand the difference between right and wrong and never claimed to take pleasure from the murders.
No pleasure? She laughed from her chest.
She stated that she does understand the difference between right and wrong and never claimed to take pleasure from the murders, saying that she felt terrible after every single one and even tried to reach out for help on a few occasions.
I can imagine that. Does it feel like a weight off your shoulders?
Yeah.
Hell no. There's never been a weight off of her shoulders, not those shoulders.
Heard it for quite some time.
And I've tried to get help a couple of times.
Yeah, well, sometimes it takes a few attempts to finally commit to it, right?
Yeah, I had a pastor that I told, and he prayed over me and told me I'd be fine. And
she just made the pastor an accomplice after the fact. I don't know if it was in a confessional, and I don't know how that holds up in court, but she just implicated a pastor.
God's grace, and then...
When was that?
Look, he can say, when was that? Who was that? What's his name? Where's he at? Let me talk to him. Why? Because he should have called us about you. Because we don't have to do our job after 8 years and investigate. He should have called us about you.
Halloween 2013.
And you kind of divulged to what had happened to you to that point in your life with
Yes.
involving these people?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that?
That was here in town.
Liz then went on to confess to 8 murders in total, as well as attempting it on 6 more people, some within just days of each other. She'd given
6 attempts. Oh shit. 8 bodies, 6 6 attempts.
For 8 years
Wow.
in total, all the while knowing what she did was wrong, and frankly, disgusting. It took her until 2016 to finally head to a mental health and addiction institute to confess and write up the 4-page documents the detective has been reading from.
Okay, we're gonna wrap things up, but here's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay, and part of this is gonna be up to you. What are your plans going forward from here?
Going forward from here, I want to go home. I want to have a good night's sleep.
Okay.
I want to spend Thanksgiving weekend with my family.
Okay.
And I want to be available to the police that intend to need me.
Okay.
And if I have to come back for trial, I have to come back for trial.
Unfortunately, Thanksgiving with her family is...
Yo, man, the demands that these lunatics be making, boy. And the defenses that you lunatics give them. Shit. She just told him, I want Thanksgiving with this is not a negotiation. This is a demand. I want Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I want to eat all of their food. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna go I'll be available to y'all when y'all need me, and I'll be ready to come back to trial when I'm ready to come back to trial. But right now I want to go home. I want to have Thanksgiving with my family and back up. Tripping.
It's far from where she was heading. Instead, she was formally charged with 8 counts of murder.
Don't she look like if Arya Stark just gave up and Arya Stark just started eating everything in Winterfell and killing everybody in the old folks ward and shit on the castle? That's her right there. Damn. Serial killer. Look at your next door neighbor It could be her. It could be your nurse. It could be your doctor.
Murder, 4 counts of attempted murder,
First-degree
and
murder,
2 counts of
attempted murder,
aggravated assault.
aggravated assault.
In 2017, she waived her right to a preliminary hearing and confessed in court to all challenges. On the 26th of June, 2016, Elizabeth Wettlaufer was sentenced to 8 consecutive life sentences, ensuring the only good night's sleep she'll be getting for the rest of her life will be behind bars.
There you go. You did it to yourself, little Arya Stark. No, there was no prerequisite. Nobody knew all of these diagnoses that she had. Nobody knew none of this stuff, none of the way she is, none of the way she was. And for 8 years, they couldn't figure out it was her. She implicated a pastor that she confessed to, which I'm sure they've tried to follow up on. And she turned herself in over whatever, whether it was selfish or whether she just wanted to be able to sleep. Well, good luck. You got eight L's. 8 L's. You had 6 attempts too. You wildin'.